Hi, I'm Todd Wente, and this is the Daily 180. 180 seconds of motivation and inspiration intended to help you take action and make progress in your life. This is episode 513 of the Daily 180, and today we're going to continue our series of ideal and real by talking about how ideal and real can work together. We've talked about the idea that ideal is that thing that is perfect, it's what we strive for, and real is flawed. So how do we make them work together? You probably already kind of figured it out. Ideal is that we are striving for in such a way that it gives us a clear target to strive for. Ideal never changes. It is not flawed. It is not something that is necessarily unattainable, but it is not something that we use to beat ourselves up with. Real is something that is flawed. It is something that is perfectly attainable, but it is also not something that we use to beat ourselves up with. In both cases, these things work together to give us something to recognize our improvement, our growth, our development, our progress. If we didn't have an ideal that we were striving for, we'd never be able to tell when we were making progress toward it. And if we didn't have something real that we could measure, well, again, we wouldn't be able to tell when we were making progress toward our ideal thing. The trick with these two is to not let one eclipse the other. They have to be both in sight. At least that's what I found for myself. If I become so focused on the real and all I'm doing is focusing on, well, what's accomplishable, what's realistic, what is it that we think we can get done, then all of a sudden the ideal stops being something that I'm striving for. And all I'm doing is focusing on what I can get accomplished. As a result, I am, in effect, shooting low and I'm forgetting that that ideal is out there. Likewise, if the ideal becomes so big that all I can do is see it, then I miss the fact that I may be making progress. All I can see is the ideal, and I am never happy with where I'm going because all I can see is the gap between where I'm at and where I wish I was, where I want to be. And I can't allow that to happen either, because then that steals everything out of my life. Ideal and real are two sides of the same coin. I had somebody, I think I mentioned earlier, I had somebody that looked at me and said, "You're a real idealist, aren't you?" Yes, I am. I don't apologize for it. I want to strive for what ideal is best. I want to strive for the ideal things. I want to strive for the ideal situation at work, the ideal situation in my family, the ideal situation in all of the things that I'm working for. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to celebrate the real success that comes along the way as we're trying to make progress toward ideal. I hope this has given you some perspective that's useful. I know for me, it's been a challenge throughout most of my life. It's something that I still struggle with, but it's something that I embrace and that I focus on and that I try and make sure I keep in the forefront of my mind. Because with these two concepts together, bringing them together gives great power. It gives energy, it gives enthusiasm, and it gives a very clear way of being able to make that progress that we're talking about. Hey, if this has been valuable, make sure you're sharing it with other people. Give this podcast out or give this video channel out to other people. Make sure you're hitting the bell and being reminded when and subscribe so you can be reminded when more of these are coming out. And I'm telling you, we got a lot more things on the horizon that are going to be coming out in just a little while. So stay with us, enjoy the journey, and as I always say, this has been the Daily 180. Go forth and conquer. We'll see you next time.